Good afternoon, students of PhD economics class. Today's topic is human resource development. This is a part of Indian economics or Indian economy. Since we are dealing with the PhD course, so let me speak about some prominent names who have opined on this subject. It may begin with Robert M. Solow from United States of America, and his contribution is named Technical Change and the Aggregate Production Function. Again, we have another American economist, Schultz, T.W. Schultz. The contribution is named Investment in Human Capital. Now, another economist, Gunnar Myrdal, who wrote about the challenges facing Asian economies, Asian countries. We can also take names of some Indian economists like Dadabhai Naoroji, Bipin Chandra, and others. So these are the prominent names who have contributed significantly in the field of describing the prospects of human resource development. Now there are some key words which are very important for this topic. The first and foremost is human resource. This human resource word put together, it describes about the quality of labor, the quality or the skill of a person contributing significantly to the production process. Second key factor is general education as well as technical know-how. Third factor is political freedom. Then is social organization, corruption, and desire to develop. Now, one by one, let us analyze the importance of human resources. With the beginning of scientific revolution and significant scientific changes in the world, every economist point that there would be 5 major factors of production. One is labor. Again, one is entrepreneur. And the rest may be called the physical resources, because land is again a natural product. Similarly, capital is not directly a human product. Indirectly, it is man-made, of course, but it is other than human. And similarly, organization. But here, organization is related to the human endowment. So, to cap it all, we can say that the economy can grow in a proper manner if manpower is properly rising. Manpower also combines other resources like education, the skill, technical know-how. These are important. And American economist Solow has observed that during 1909 and for the rest of 40 years ahead, the production process in USA was mainly contributed and enhanced by human resource through his statistical investigation. Another important factor here is political freedom. This is also a human endowment because this relates to a society of persons, humans, whose political freedom has a significant impact on production process or the entire economic development of the nation. For example, Dadabhai Naoroji, Bipin Chandra and many others from India, they had their own observation of how the Indian economy did during the British period, British colonial rule. And they found that there was a drainage of resources, capital resources from India, from the Indian economy, from the Indian soil. And actually it reigned over the occupant soil, who occupied our soil, the Britishers' soil, that means England. The enhancement of the British economy was a consequence of the poverty of the Indian soil, which was at that time a British colony. Similarly, many other colonies in the world were drained, where somehow they were impoverished. Side by side, the occupants or the colonial rulers, they thrived out of the loot of the or the plunder of the colonies. So they concluded that whatever development in India during the colonial period took place was not at all a contribution from the colonial rule. It was just a coincidence that some of the industries were taking birth at that time also, like heavy industries or infrastructure or other several economic activities. But the majority of the economic activities in India witnessed plunder in the hands of the colonial rulers. So, political freedom only can be a major contributor for economic progress, for the development of a nation. a nation can never develop unless and until its political authority is restored in the people. Political authority means there is a welfare state in the country, and by means of the proper dignified way of ruling, dignified way of governance, a political atmosphere develops in order to support the economic development. Economic development can be supported through a proper political atmosphere. Now, the social organization is also equally important, and this is also a part of human resource or human development. Social organization means from the grassroots level, like villages, up to the metropolitan cities in a country. They all contribute, equally contribute. If suppose the villages, they contribute through agricultural production, through other services, through providing a good market, etc., etc. Similarly, metropolitan cities, they contribute through industrial advancement and industrial services, other types of services. It actually depends upon states' development programs. If social organization is well planned, the role of the government, it becomes fruitful, meaningful. Suppose now another key factor is corruption. It's also a part of how human development impacts. If suppose a society is rampant with corruption, what will be the impact on economic development? Corruption on mass scale is also a problem of developing nations like India. And that is why most of the multinational companies, actually they were unwilling to participate in the Indian economic activities. Even now, after freedom and after LPG liberalization, etc., etc., they are welcome. But their main obstacle is termed as corruption in the society, in the bureaucracy, in the polity. So, a nation's economy is directly or indirectly connected with the wide-scale menace of corruption. And as an economy grows, as it develops, enriches, and becomes wealthier and wealthier, bigger and bigger, its main features may be characterized as lessening and lessening of this menace of corruption. Most of the developed world is much less corrupt in every sense. And the developing nations, less developed world, it suffers from this menace. Now, there should also be a desire to develop. Desire to develop means the people's desire, the involvement of masses. Any single political party, any group of leaders, any small minority of social workers, economic thinkers, intellectuals cannot as consequently contribute as when masses will try. If the masses are determined, then there will be a major change, as it happened in Japan. We find both Japan and Germany were almost crushed during the Second World War. Similarly was the condition of Europe was. Europe was also suffering from bloodshed, mass scale destruction due to the Great War, Second World War. But what happened then? How the economies of these countries resurfaced and resurrected. It was not only the capital inflow, technical change, but it was significantly because the masses were ready for this change. If the masses were ready, then only such changes would evolve. So, there should be a desire to develop on the part of the masses. Now, let us come to another part of this discussion. Why do we require human development? Why is it so important? According to Paul Streeter, human development is necessary because it is the end, while economic growth is only a means. According to this economist, the human development is the end. This is not the means. What is the means? What is the medium? Medium is economic growth. So, the ultimate goal is human development. Second point comes when human development is a means to higher productivity. It leads to the escalation of productivity. It helps in lowering the family size. So, as the country advances economically, financially, it impacts the minds of people. How? By impacting their general common sense, as well as their realization about what is good for them. There was a slogan long back in America, USA, a baby or a car. This slogan meant, or this slogan actually, it became a fashion because the common Americans felt the necessity of selection, choice, either to choose wealth or to choose expansion of family members. So, this is a realization on account of human development. This comes through education. This feeling, this awareness comes through economic development via education. Human development is equally good or physical environment. Physical environment means the capital formation and other physical resources. As we know in economics, if you farm, if you are a farmer, if you are a cultivator, you have to have a guts of that cultivator's mentality. Similarly, if you are an entrepreneur, you must have that sound quality. So, the physical environment also depends on human development. It reduces poverty and creates a healthy civil society. If there is human development, only then we will find the commencement of healthy civil society, increased democracy, and greater social stability. So, if we have to develop our nation, if we have to contribute to our economic development, then human development is the primary requirement. Now, let us also analyze this in the sense that there are some essential components of human development. Equity is one of them, because the population, human population, it works on a given psyche. The psychological factor is very important in human resource development. Every human being likes to be treated equally, on an equal basis. Everyone requires an atmosphere of equal opportunity. So, if a society finds this sense of equity, the chances of growth becomes quick and steady. Further area is sustainability. There should be a sense of stability. And sustainability means what the present generation of human beings plan about the opportunities of the next coming generations. Only human being can do so. The very specific characteristic of the human mind is to be less selfish, and it also thinks welfare of its progenies. And just as a contrast, other creatures, living beings, they do not behave like this, behave like humans. They behave different, but humans behave different. And they have discretion, and they can provide opportunities for the future generations. So, human senses actually feel the requirement of the next generation. They can sense that the human deprivation, human poverty, and other all sorts of backwardness should be reduced. This is the sustainability sense. Similarly is productivity. This is a very difficult term because productivity in a simple sense is something else, because this relates to the rate of growth output. But here we talk about how productivity affects human development. One Indian economist, Mahbub ul Haq, he speaks, he has quoted, an essential part of the human development paradigm is productivity, which requires investments in people and an enabling macroeconomic environment for them. So, according to this approach, investment in people, this is the sense of using the term productivity. Human investment. And human investment means how we educate, how illiteracy is reduced, and all such measures so that the masses are awakened and there is a better condition of the masses. The general population can be changed qualitatively and on the basis of educational achievements. If there will be less illiteracy, the manifold impact will be on family, on community, on society, on economy, on political freedom struggle, and so and so. So, all such factors put together, actually, they make the sense of human resource development. Now, I will invite, if my students are hearing, they may interact, and for them I give you a few minutes as provided this class lecture. So I invite my students, because although I have touched some significant aspects, but at the same time, I like to add a few more aspects. When we talk about human development, we should also talk about other than human development, other than human, that is physical development. What are the chief areas of physical development? For that purpose, we shall first term as capital formation. This is the major area of physical development. or it is also known as physical infrastructure. Actually, human resource development is also known as human infrastructure. Similarly, we have physical infrastructure. Physical infrastructure incorporates, and the very important part of physical infrastructure is capital formation. Its very important role in raising the level of production. That makes sense in economics. Only through capital formation, the process of development, the process of production process, I mean economic progress, can evolve. And so capital formation is very important. And it originates from income in the macroeconomic sense. If there is saving, then only there will be investment. And if there will be investment, only then there will be capital formation. Similarly, during the production process, after a certain level, we find that the output may be subdivided into two parts. Number one is consumption, and the other part is investment. So investment is there from that segment also. And similarly, investment from the saving side also. The total national income may be subdivided into consumption and saving. And saving becomes investment. It may be equal to, saving becomes equal to investment. So, capital formation is necessary. And it also has to do with the supply of capital. Just as it is necessary to be demand for capital. Why so? Suppose there is regression or depression, or suppose there is a sudden calamity, natural calamity, like corona epidemic, pandemic. In the present situation, we find what? We find a situation when there is less and less demand of capital. There is huge readiness for capital supply by the government through banking institutions, but there is less environment for demand for capital. Such situations are very accidental. It's not usual, but it may happen. It has in fact happened throughout the world. So capital formation is required for the development of a nation. And particularly, as Ragnar Knudsen has rightly said, that the vicious circle of poverty may be countered only through the inflow of capital in the economy. The other factor of physical resource or physical infrastructure is marginal surplus, and this should come from both industries as well as agriculture. Similarly, there should be a favorable condition in foreign trade, and there are several other measures which combined together, they become a part of physical infrastructure. And we should also learn, we study about that. But here, the emphasis is laid upon the human resource development. And so I think I may conclude this today.